On the world news tonight from Bababagidi Imo Television, first the headlines. TINUBU stops 40% deduction from universities. TINUBU to attend G20 Africa conference in Germany. Emefiele arraigned for alleged 1.6 billion naira fraud, remanded in Kuje prison. Court of Appeal affirms tribunal judgment, sacks Kanu governor. On sports, Osim makes top 10 court for Men's Player of the Year award. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. The news in detail. President Bola Ahmed TINUBU has announced the cancellation of the automatic deduction of 40% from the internally generated revenue of federal universities. TINUBU made this known on Friday at an ongoing 75th Founders Day ceremony of the University of Ibadan, UI in Ibadan. President TINUBU was represented by the Minister of Education, Tahir Mamman, said the policy implementation is ill-timed, adding that universities are struggling. In his speech as a visitor to the university, TINUBU pledged its commitment to the reform of the nation's education sector as the bedrock for national development. The 40% IGR automatic deduction policy stands cancelled. This is not the best time for such policy since our universities are struggling. Recall that a leaked memo addressed to the head of universities by the Nigerian government noted that from November, universities will have 40% of revenues generated internally and deposited in their account will be deducted automatically by the government via the Treasury single account. A copy of the memo addressed to the Office of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Abuja by the Revenue and Investment Department of the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation and the Federal Ministry of Finance notified the institution of automatic deduction of 40% of its IGR by the government. Dated October 17 with reference number R&I 2045T252 and signed by the Director of Revenue and Investment Department, Felix Ogundairo, the letter disclosed that the decision, which affects all partially funded government agencies and parastatals, including universities, is in line with provisions of Section 62 of Finance Act 2020. President Bola TINUBU will on Saturday depart Abuja for Berlin, Germany to attend the G20 Compact with Africa Conference on November 20, 2023, hosted by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. The G20 CWA conference will be taking place alongside the 4th G20 Investment Summit, co-hosted by German government and German business associations. A statement signed by TINUBU's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Adewole Yesu. The statement is titled President TINUBU attends G20 Compact with Africa Conference in Berlin as Energy, Trade and Investment Top Agenda. During the conference, TINUBU will join other heads of state and government of Commonwealth member states, bilateral partners, as well as heads of international organizations to deliberate on the immediate enhancement of economic and business cooperation, to outline concrete measures to boost investment in critical areas such as energy, trade, infrastructure, and new technologies, among others. Ngelale noted that the president will sustain his momentum in advancing the course for foreign direct investment in Nigeria as he leads the country's delegation to participate in the investment summit. The visit is also President Bola TINUBU's commitment to diplomatic reciprocity, as the invitation to Germany from the German Chancellor is being honored following the visit of the German Chancellor to Abuja and Lagos, Nigeria from October 29 to October 30, 2023. The embattled suspended CBN governor. The federal government has arraigned the immediate past governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Eme, on a 6-count charge bordering on alleged procurement. The original charge, which was 20 counts to the tune of 6.5 billion naira, has been reduced to 6 to the tune of 1.6 billion naira. Emefiele is the only defendant in the new charge. The former CBN governor appeared in court on Friday today for an application for bail, pleading not guilty to the 6-count charge after it was read to him. Emefiele arrived just in time for the commencement of the day's proceedings. According to the amended charge sheet, the charges still border on procurement fraud. The federal government alleged that Emefiele illegally bought 43 vehicles between 2018 and 2020 worth 1.2 billion naira. He was also accused of awarding a contract for the procurement of 37 Toyota Hilux vehicles valued at 854 million naira. In the second count, Emefiele was accused of using his position to corruptly confer an advantage on Yaro, a staff of the Central Bank of Nigeria, by awarding a contract for the supply of one Toyota Avalon at the cost of 99 million naira, only April 1616 Investment Limited, a company in which they said Sedatu Ramalin Yaro, director, and thereby committed an offense. He was also accused of conferring corrupt advantage, contrary to Section 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000, by awarding a contract for the supply of one Toyota Land Cruiser V8 April 1616 Investment Limited in 2019 at the cost of 73 million naira. The fourth count was about a Toyota Land Cruiser V8 valued at 73 million awarded illegally to April 1616 Investment Limited. The federal government further accused the former CBN governor of also awarding a contract to Yaro the supply of the two Toyota Hilux Shell specification vehicles at the cost of 44 million naira in 2020. Justice Amza Mohazu of the Federal Capital Territory High Court adjourned the case till November 22nd for ruling on the bail application of Emefiele and November 28th for the commencement of trial. In the interim, he ordered that Emefiele be remanded at the Kuje Correctional Center. The former CBN governor was escorted to the center around 10:40 a.m. today. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has upheld the ruling of the Election Petitions Tribunal sacking Governor Adewole Yesu of Kano State. In its judgment today, the appeal court agreed with the judgment of the tribunal, ruling that the fielding of Adewole Yesu was in breach of the electoral law, as he was not qualified to contest that election. The verdict comes nearly 2 months after the Kano Governorship Election Petition Tribunal on September 20th sacked Yusuf, declaring the All Progressive Congress candidate Nasir Gawna as the winner of the March 18 election. Yusuf, who contested on the platform of the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP), was declared the winner of the election by the Independent National Electoral Commission after the poll in March. The tribunal deducted 165,663 votes from Yusuf's total as invalid, stating that the affected ballot papers were not stamped or signed and therefore declared invalid. The ruling came about 6 months after the APC candidate conceded defeat to Yusuf in the wake of INEC's presentation of the certificate of return to the NNPP candidate. In a 2-minute audio statement on March 29, Governor stated that, as a good Muslim, he was compelled to accept the outcome of the election, whether in his favor or not. He added that although his campaign team had requested a review of the election result by INEC, upon review, the commission had found Yusuf to be the winner of the election. Moving on to the next story. The federal government on Thursday said it has seized over 45 billion naira that was illegally looted from the National Treasury. It further disclosed that a number of individuals and entities linked to the terrorist activities have been identified and designated, with funds traced to them also confiscated. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi-San, made the disclosure in his opening address at the 40th Technical Commission plenary meeting of the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa, GIABA, held at the State House, Abuja. GIABA is a specialized institution for the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, responsible for facilitating the adoption and implementation of anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism strategies in West Africa. He said in 2022, we increased the budget for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, and National Drug Law Enforcement Agency by almost 95%. This sustained investment has seen increased numbers of investigations, prosecutions, and convictions consistently since 2021, with 5,118 investigations, 1,509 prosecutions, and almost 500 convictions secured, resulting in over 45 billion naira of illicit proceeds seized. You are watching the world news from BGI TV. Next to come, the Ogun State Police Command held a strategic security meeting with heads of tertiary institutions, host communities, and students towards tackling the spate of security threats across the citadels of learning in the state. The Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Alamutu, addressed participants during the meeting at the Police Officers' Wives Association Hall in Abeokuta, the state capital, speaking on major challenges fueling the security breach. Alamutu identified mistrust, drug abuse among youth, and police, tertiary institutions heads, and host communities working at cross-purpose as some of the challenges. He assured critical stakeholders of the command's resolve to strengthen security architecture in and around schools in order to restore confidence in the members of the general public. The maiden edition of the Strategic Security Meeting, which was at instance of the State Police Commissioner, was well attended by heads of tertiary institutions, members of the host communities, traditional rulers, students, leaders, and senior police officers. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has released one serving officer of the Nigerian Army and 7 Nigerian Air Force operatives allegedly linked with internet-related fraud. The suspects were arrested by the Kaduna State Zonal Office of the Anti-Graft Agency on Monday and remanded in the custody of the Commission for further investigation and possible prosecution. However, the matter took a dramatic twist on Friday morning as armed NAV soldiers invaded the EFCC office located at number 4 Woodno Road in the state capital to enforce the release of their colleagues from detention. The soldiers, who arrived at the EFCC office in 5 Hilux patrol vans around 10 a.m., surrounded the main gate of the commission, preventing the EFCC officials from entering or leaving the office. The incident culminated into a showdown between the Air Force personnel and EFCC security operatives, who engaged in a shouting match and threatened to pull the trigger on each other. The situation was later brought under control with the EFCC zonal head and the leader of the Air Force team meeting briefly, leading to the release of the suspects. Yesu, a supporter of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, LP, Peter Obi, recently faulted how President Bola TINUBU is handling the country. Bayo Ononuga, special advisor to President Bola TINUBU on information and strategy, has slammed Aisha Yesu over her attack on his principal. She wrote in her X handle on Thursday, "There will always be a difference between Commander-in-Chief and Certificate Forger-in-Chief." But in reacting to Yesufu's post, Ononuga said she is becoming uncontrollable. "I really pity this lady for becoming so uncontrollable. The husband should grab her quickly. She needs attention," Ononuga said in a post on his official X handle today. Yesufu also said the judiciary is destroying Nigeria under TINUBU's government while reacting to appeal court judgment that sacked the governor of Kano State, Adewole Yesu. Going on to foreign story. Israeli soldiers found a tunnel shafts used by Hamas at Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said efforts to prevent Palestinian civilian casualties were not successful because Hamas stopped people moving to safer places. Israel says Hamas has stored weapons and ammunition and is holding hostages in a network of tunnels under hospitals like Al-Shifa, using patients and thousands of displaced people taking shelter there as human shields. Hamas denies it. Netanyahu was asked by U.S. televisions on Thursday whether Israel's killing of thousands of Palestinians in its almost 6-week war against Hamas militants would fuel hatred among new generation. Israel's attempt to minimize civilian casualties were not successful, Netanyahu said, accusing Hamas of preventing civilians from moving to safer locations. "Any civilian death is a tragedy, and we shouldn't have any because we are doing everything we can to get the civilians out of Hamas' way, while Hamas is doing everything to keep them in arm's way," Netanyahu said. "So we send leaflets, call them on their cell phones, and we say leave, and many have left," he said. The army released a video it said showed a tunnel entrance in an outdoor area of Al-Shifa, Gaza's biggest hospital. Finally, on sports. Victor Osim has been named in the final 10-man shortlist for the 2023 Africa CAF Men's Player of the Year award. CAF reduced the list to 10 from the original 30 released last 2 weeks ago. Africa's soccer ruling body announced the contenders for the individual accolade on his X handle today. Senegal's Sadio Mane, who won the prestigious award for the first time last year, Mohamed Salah, Achraf Hakimi, Yassine Bounou, and Yusuf El Nasiri made the shortlist. Osimhen's Napoli teammate Frank Zambo Anguissa, Vincent Aboubakar, Riyad Mahrez, and Sofiane Amrabat were also included. Osimhen is overwhelming favorite to win the award following his impressive displays for Napoli in the 2022-2023 season. The Nigerian international scored 26 goals in 32 league appearances to help the Pantanope win the Scudetto for the first time in over 3 decades. The 24-year-old also registered 5 more goals in the UEFA Champions League. Osim, who is currently recovering from a hamstring injury, has scored 6 goals, 10 appearances across all competitions for the Serie A champions this season. His compatriot Gift Orban failed to make final list for the Young Player of the Year award. The award ceremony will hold in the city of Marrakech, Morocco on December 11. With our sports story, we've come to the end of today's world news. Before we go, some headlines. TINUBU stops 40% IGR deduction from universities. TINUBU to attend G20 Africa Conference in Germany. Emefiele arraigned for alleged 1.6 billion naira fraud, remanded in Kuje prison. Court of Appeal affirms tribunal judgment, sacks Kano governor. We have seized 45 billion naira looted funds, identified terrorist financiers, FG. On sport, CAF Award 2023, Osim makes top 10 court for Men's Player of the Year award. For updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is Gbagede Emo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Gbagede Emo with Alawi Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of recruiting services, coverage of events and function, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. Jumat Mufida. May it never be our last. To all faithful Muslims all around the world. I am Moriwe Rabila Law.